Hello and welcome into another Computer America show. It's Friday. You have all made it through the week, and it's going to be a really fun time here. It's hard to not have a good day when you're talking to Ralph Bond. That is something I have found over the course of just knowing the guy. So yeah, he's going to be our guest today, and we have a lot of great, interesting articles to talk about. And he picks a lot of really great, like I would say, mostly on the on the uplifting side. They're new technology, new things like that. So sit back and relax as we have an entire hour of the Computer America show. And I just want to say special, of course, it is Veterans Day. And all the veterans out there listening at home, or maybe anyone that you know, thank you for your service. And of course,
your show will go live in 5
thank you for listening.
seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America show. We are the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers and technology. I'm your host, Ben, and yeah, we have a great show lined up for everyone today. And of course, right out the get-go, I want to say, and I just had this conversation with with a colleague not half an hour ago. Do you say Happy Veterans Day or do you say Merry Veteran? I don't know. It's Veterans Day, and of course, we want to say and give a shout out to all the veterans serving, have served, or are going to serve, and say thank you, of course. And yeah, wish you all the best. It's not the easiest thing to do, and I've never been asked to do something like that myself, or even asked myself to do something of that caliber. I can't imagine the sacrifice it really takes. I know that the effects are long past when you're finished. It really is a lifetime commitment, and the least we can do is say thank you, and thank you honestly. So with that being said, before we bring on today's guest, who is, of course, Ralph Bond, many of you longtime listeners will, of course, know the man, know the myth, know the legend. I just want to say real quick that today is going to be especially important for the show notes, because everything that we talk about, sometimes we get into very technical things, sometimes we mention obscure companies, sometimes we mention very complicated processes that are actually very well explained in videos that are included in the articles. And all of that is so neatly and nicely prepared by Mr. Bond himself, and they can be found in the show notes. So if you go into the show notes for today, you'll find a link under cheat sheet, and that will have everything that we do today. Very, very simple, and we enjoy doing that for you. Also, at computeramerica.com, you will find links to all of our social media sites. And that is also important today, because somewhere towards the middle end of the show, we have to make you wait for it. But yeah, we will be giving away a Keys to Go from Logitech. It's a $70 keyboard, really, really great, really, really soft to the touch. I've had one myself. Great product, great for mobile computing, for cell phones, tablets, what have you. And we are giving one of those away to a listener. So, and the way to enter that is, of course, go to social media, follow us, support Computer America. Not only will you get updates and all the great things that we do here at the show, but you will also instantly enter to win those prizes. Just that simple. Now, I don't want to take too much away from Mr. Bond, because, of course, since we moved over to the 1 hour schedule, we never get all the articles and all the stories that he picks out to talk about, unfortunately. So, and I actually found it this time. There we go. See, I'm learning. Yeah, and I want to welcome onto the show once again Mr. Ralph Bond. He is he's with Autodesk, and he's a long-time Computer America correspondent. He is an author, writes many books and on many topics, and just an all-around great guy to talk to. So let's see, let's turn that down, because I think if we play that any louder, then we have to pay royalties. So. But welcome on the show, Ralph. Ralph, thank you for joining us once again.
Hey, great to be here, and I love hearing my theme song. Yes! I can fantasize.
I've always wondered if we should update it to some of the newer James Bond theme songs, but that's a classic. I mean, that was
No, that's the one you want because I'm old school. I'm old and old school, and so that's perfect.
which James Bond is yours? Because I know mine is Pierce Brosnan. So
Oh gosh, yeah,
which is
I don't.
yours? That
Yeah, that's hard to pick. I just, you're talking about my relatives, so I mean, this is difficult for me to select one baby over the other.
so,
But Sean Connery was great, I think.
there you go. The original, the great, and Sean Connery. No,
Yeah,
but we don't have Sean Connery. We have something even better. We have Mr. Bond himself, Mr. Ralph.
there you go. Yeah, and I want to add my words of respect and thanks to our veterans as well. I was 6 years in the Army Reserve myself, but technically not a veteran, but served with many veterans. And to show you how old I am, I was serving at the time of the Vietnam War. So many wonderful veterans who did not get respect and honor back in that war, I'm so glad today are getting that long overdue respect in the past couple of decades. So salute to all of the men and women that have served then and now, and as you said, rightly so in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's an ongoing service that when one veteran leaves, you need someone else to take it. So there's going to be more, and it's definitely good to show your support for the future ones. But but getting back to the show, and all about technology and all about new technology, and of course your job over, or at least the company that you advocate for, and of course that you work for, they Autodesk, I think, is one of the few companies out there that aren't just kind of living in the future. They're designing the tools to make the future, and I'm sure a number of our articles will concern projects by Autodesk, or Autodesk is having a helping hand in. And I mean, they do a lot of great stuff. So future is definitely, kind of right up our alley in terms of technology.
Yeah, that's great, Ben, because in fact, next week in Las Vegas, we have our annual Autodesk University, which in this case is going to bring together more than 10,000 Autodesk product users from around the world. And the underpinning theme, the future of making things. So what you just said a moment ago was so right on target with where we see our role in helping our customers make the future of movies, the future of products, the future of buildings, you name it. And it's just great to be involved. We're really looking forward to that. I fly out Monday morning for some fun time in Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas is a fun place, and I'm sure being surrounded by a bunch of computer jockeys is.
Oh, it's great. It's awesome.
No, I mean, if you have to choose a business to be in, I mean, the business of making the future. I mean, that's future proof, because
yes, it is.
Good direction by Autodesk, and I'm sure, like I said, we're going to be mentioning quite a few projects. I mean, I was just kind of mentioning it, and I remember last time we talked about the project that would use the 3D scanners that would go into historical sites and scan them in detail.
Right.
So you could, kind of maybe not preserve them in the physical sense, but at least you could preserve them in the digital sense.
Right. Exactly. Right. Good stuff.
Stories like that. It's going to be a lot of fun. But, and, like I mentioned, and like Ralph Bond himself always recommends, go over to Computer America and find the show notes, because Ralph does a really great job of finding the links, collecting the links, collecting pictures from the article, and collecting videos where they are relevant. And it's going to be very helpful for what we do here today.
Yeah, check it out. And I'm ready for the first story. This is a good one.
Me too. And this looks like Back to the Future-esque kind of technology, but the wrist whirl lets you control your smartwatch with hand gestures. Crazy.
Yes, it is. And in fact, the rest of the title is "And Look Mad," as in crazy, while doing it, which is very appropriate. And folks, if you have the show notes, like Ben and I are telling you to get, you can see a picture, you can get the links, all this sort of thing. It makes it all come to life for you. So please do that if you can. This story comes from TechCrunch. It's by Devin Coldaway, and it's about this kind of experimental wrist smart device that instead of having to touch like this all the time, touching on the device, you can control it with your wrist movements, which the minute I saw this, I said, this is pretty interesting. Now, if you see the picture, it's kind of funny because it's very much an obvious prototype. It even involves the wonderful silver duct tape, and but the idea is what's cool. And here's what the article has to say. It says, it's a funny thing. Smartwatches are supposed to be more accessible alternative to your smartphone, but you can operate a phone with one hand while the watch takes two. So, luckily, Dartmouth researchers are on the case and have engineered a way to use your wrist as a sort of joystick, allowing you to use your smartwatch one-handed. Great, right? Goes on to say it's a very hacky project. This isn't some custom app running on an Apple Watch. And then it talks about the people involved. Zheng Dong Yang, I hope I'm not butchering this poor man's name. Last name is Yang, Y-A-N-G, and his colleagues at Dartmouth built their own smartwatch with a 2-inch display, which again is shown in the picture if you have the show notes, a wristband, and a dozen infrared proximity sensors. That's kind of interesting. The project, by the way, is called the Wrist Whirl. The Wrist Whirl prototype is literally duct taped together. As I mentioned before, it's kind of funny. And it says the proximity sensors monitor how far away the bits of your hand are, collating that information into a larger picture of the position of your wrist. Interesting, huh?
Mhm.
This data is sent instantly to the watch, where it drives a virtual cursor. Tilting your hand down moves the cursor down, and so on, right? So you're tilting your hand is how it's responding. Tilt in a pattern to launch or switch apps, scroll up and down, and play games, all without using the second hand, or using another hand, that is, rather.
Right.
And it says it only detects gestures when you want it to. Now, this is a good point. Again, only detects gestures when you want it to. Another sensor detects the sound made when you tap your thumb and index finger together on the hand wearing the watch, which turns the recognition software on and off. Now, that's clever, right? And goes, yeah.
I mean, I'm trying. Like I have my thumb and my finger right next to the microphone. I mean, I can't do it loud enough. Like, it must be very sensitive, or at least
It must be very sensitive, or a vibration too, right? It could be vibration plus sound. I'm with you. That's very subtle.
not loud.
Very subtle, especially if, let's say, you're in a noisy subway train car or something. I mean, anyway, but the idea, I think, is fabulous. And it goes on to say there are already gyros and accelerometer. I can never say that word. Accelerometers. Thank you. I think this I need the help. In smartwatches, but having to move the watch around when you want to zoom in on a map seems pretty weak, especially once you've seen the Wrist Whirl, and it's a prototype, in action. And it concludes with a quote. It says, "Our plan is to build a self-contained version using an Apple Watch." That's interesting, wrote Yang, the lead developer at Dartmouth, in an email to TechCrunch. This way, we can test the idea in a more realistic setting. And then it ends with developers would have a field day. It's very futuristic. I couldn't agree more. I love this kind of cutting edge stuff and thinking through, let's see if we can make manipulating or controlling a wrist device one-handed instead of having to be, this sort of thing, right? I'm fascinated with it. I love it.
I mean, I have a love-hate relationship with stories like these because, I mean, user interface is one of the main problems when producing a device. Like Apple spends millions upon millions of dollars working on the user interface. That's why they have like the 2-tap, the 2-swipe.
Yeah.
They really do focus on this. And it's just hard for me to imagine, but these gentlemen are certainly doing it. That's and admittedly, they are working with Dartmouth, so it's not just two guys in a garage. Like, it's a research project from a college. But at the same time, I mean, it's hard to imagine that a company who's willing to throw as much money as it takes to build a better interface, and then these guys are going to come up with something better. Like, I don't know how applicable this is going to be, but it's certainly different, and that's something that we don't.
Yes. Oh,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've like the entire time I've been moving my wrist back and forth. I was like left down, just trying and like maybe if you like roll your wrist. Like, I definitely like the idea that you control it by moving your hand and not your arm, because obviously you don't want to be moving your arm around while you're trying to look at it. But no, it seems very, very different. Obviously, the pictures are amazing to look at. I mean, I've never seen something in such rough prototype.
I know, isn't that hilarious? You gotta love it. That part alone is worth getting the show notes, people.
Absolutely. But if they can get this working, I mean, it could be a way to control a smartwatch because they're right. I don't know many people who enjoy, kind of touching their Apple Watch with their other.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, and there's so many situations where if you're in a car or something like that, it would be so great. What if you could hang up or answer just by, well, you can do that with voice controls, but again, I don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
I think a subset of it will probably find its way into the Apple Watch in some way, perhaps in the future, or other watches like this, but love it. And hey, the next story, which is also by the same author, also from TechCrunch, this is another one, Ben, that's really out there in the cutting edge, no pun intended, as you'll learn in the story. And it's called Self-Healing Electric Ink Refuses to Die When Cut. Yeah, and of course, when I saw that title, I think this Devin guy is on to first the story we just did, now this one. I just love it. And let's go into that. You can see a great picture in the show notes where a fella has one of these ink lines and so forth, and it takes a pair of scissors and actually cuts it, and then it talks about how it self-heals. But let me give the story for you here. It says some clever researchers, perhaps too clever, have created a printable, self-healing conductive material that repeatedly fixes itself after being snipped in half. Wow. Perhaps this will lead to cut-resistant hunter-killer robots, a little tongue-in-cheek here, but more likely, it'll just be used for smart genes. Well, that's also a little tongue-in-cheek because really, since it's conductive, this has implications for electronics, of course. Now, here's another research project. It says the University of California, San Diego engineers were looking into making improved self-healing materials, which may take hours or days to repair serious damage or require heat or some other catalyst in order to work. Now, then there's a quote from the fellow, one of the researchers. He says, "We wanted to develop a smart system with impressive self-healing abilities with easy-to-find, inexpensive materials," explained Ama Bandokar, one of the researchers in the U.S. University of California, San Diego, in their news release. And we have the link to that news release in the show notes, folks. Goes on to say, and they did it. Printable ink was impregnated with microparticles. Oh, here we go. I'll try it. Maybe you can help me, Ben. Neodymium.
Neodymium. There we go. Whew.
Thank you. A commonly used metal with strong magnetic properties, and carbon black, which is highly conductive. Goes on to say, a clever fabrication process ensures that printed strips of the ink act as permanent magnets. There's the healing part, right? Act as permanent magnets, and cutting them only separates them into two smaller permanent magnets with similar orientations. The result is that when two pieces are separated, the north pole of one remains by the south pole of the other, attracting each other, right? And if they aren't far apart or are brought near to each other, the two pieces of printed material will join up, although they won't form a permanent connection, unlike some of the more exotic self-healing substances. And then there's a diagram here showing this north and south pole issue with the cut and the bringing it back together. And he goes on to say, even so, this could make for circuits and sensors. This is where it becomes interesting. Even so, this could make for circuits and sensors that can instantly and easily heal simple damage. Great news for flexible and wearable electronics, which are constantly being bent and broken, right? The proportions in the ink can be changed easily to make it more magnetic, more conductive, and so on. And other cooler microparticles can be added as well. Goes on near the end here. It says, has a quote. It says, quote, the generic self-healing ink formulation technique discussed in this work can be easily applied for developing inks containing other fillers for printing self-healing devices that cater to a wide range of applications and printed electronic devices, as stated in their research paper. Then it ends here. The researchers are currently looking into how to create a battery. Wait a minute. What? The researchers are currently looking into how to create a battery that self-heals as well. How about that? And it says you can read the full research paper, and it's got a link in here. Check it out if you're into this kind of self-healing stuff, which is a big trend in science right now. Check this out. I love this story.
No, it has definite implications because I mean, we talk about all the time. Technology is going to work its way into more places. The beginning of people joked about smart jeans, but
Yeah.
like it joked about it. Smart clothing is definitely going to happen. So
Yeah.
like I think if this can kind of help with the durability, like so even if it breaks, it can still kind of work. That's very important. So,
or it can kind of work after a reasonably short amount of time for the conductive connection to reestablish itself, right? I mean, and the smart jeans. Yeah, what if you had conductive threads that are tying your devices together that you're wearing? Maybe you're a police person or military or whatever. And you have experienced a rough impact, but if it could self-heal, the implications are so interesting. But that self-healing battery, that at the end they just sort of tease you with that. That's wow. That's pretty interesting too.
I hate to go for low hanging fruit, but I bet you Samsung had those.
Oh, boy. I'm sure Samsung would like some self-healing. Did you see the story about their exploding washing machines?
I did. We did report on that. Like,
oh my gosh, those poor people. I'm telling you, first the customers, of course, that's terrible for them. But Samsung first has that phone disaster, then gets whacked in the head with the washing machine. And Ben, Samsung is renowned for their quality, renowned for their relentless engineering. And this must be just one of the darkest moments in Samsung's history to have these terribly embarrassing things come up.
A Samsung television is like one of the best televisions you can.
Oh my gosh, I have many Samsung products. I love them. I would not hesitate to buy a Samsung product. So that's why my heart just breaks for those guys. Because
I will say that Samsung is bouncing back. I mean, they're already talking about the Samsung Galaxy 8. So they have a repair kit for the washing machines. Like they're sticking themselves. It's just needs some work.
Yeah. It's just again, I don't take any joy or pleasure out of them having trouble. It breaks my heart because you and I are from the technology community. You know how hard these men and women work to try to get everything right, and sometimes things just don't work out.
Especially when you're talking about millions of products, not easy.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Hey, but you know what might be easy? Air jams.
Yes.
And I don't know anyone who hasn't at some point in their life tried to play air guitar. It's incredibly easy to pick up, and the noise doesn't matter. It's how you sound. But now, possibly, the noise does matter. So, what is this air jams?
Well, yeah, I saw this, and I thought this was cute, and I thought this was kind of fun because we're coming up on the holidays now, and if you're looking for a Christmas or Hanukkah gift or whatever you're looking for, this might be fun. And it's called the Air Jams, and I found it on Amazon.com in a product promo. I think I got something in the email or whatever. But it's Air Jams. It's AIRJAMZ. So like jamming, right? And in the air, but air jamming, like air playing guitar. And it says is an app-enabled Bluetooth guitar pick. It's much larger than a guitar pick, as you'll see. The link is in here. We have a video in here too, talking about videos. You can see this. The still image shows you this large, oversized guitar pick, shows you an image of the interface of the phone app or smartphone or tablet app you can have. And I'll just give you a few bits of information about it. Go out and get the show notes. Look at that video. It's really tremendous. And it says Air Jams is an app-enabled Bluetooth guitar pick that has everyone making music. Simply power up, connect to the Air Jams music app on your mobile device, and strum, shake, or move with the Air Jam. Your motion is sensed and instantly turned into musical sounds in the app. Now your moves make music. It's easy, it's fun, download content, and instantly rock with over 25 songs, 100 plus instruments and sounds. You can play guitar, drums, synths, lasers, and cool special effects. It's social. Show off with Snapchat and Instagram and play with up to 4 players. I thought that was kind of cool. Available for iOS and Android mobile devices. Price is $49.99, so it's not a ridiculous cost. And if you have somebody that you think would get a big kick out of this, it's aerobic too, because you're moving around, right? And again, there's a fun video.
Right. if you do it right, you're moving around. You're moving around. You're kicking stuff. You're jumping on top of things. You're busting out the solos. If you do it right, air guitar is very aerobic.
Yes, you could be like Peter. Was it Peter Townsend from the Who does that windmill?
Yeah, exactly. No, it's
I feel just try that out. But price is reasonable.
no, it's a very, very cool idea, and I definitely like the fact that it comes with 100+ instruments. So it's not
Yes.
just a guitar; it's
Yes.
for everything.
Yeah, pretty cool. So I thought that was cute, and I threw it in as kind of a pre-holiday. Probably in our next month's show, we'll do more holiday quirky gifts.
For sure. And yeah, I mean, stocking $50 for a stocking stuffer, but it would fit definitely in a stocking. So portable. All right, we have time for this one too as well. And yeah, this is something I actually like because I don't know about you, Ralph, but I used to fall asleep with the television, and I used to fall asleep with the book. Now, I'll be honest, I fall asleep with Netflix. I turn Netflix on, something that I turn Futurama on. Like, that's my latest kick. Fall asleep with Futurama. But this could probably help because this is for people who leave Netflix on and need to go to sleep. And now they have something called Napflix that will.
Yes, hilarious, isn't it? And it's, the little lawyer that lives inside my brain says, "Wait a minute, how did they get away with calling this Napflix? That's too close to Netflix, right?" So we'll leave the lawyers to figure that out. But you're right. This comes from Gizmodo, a story by Rhett Jones. The headline is "Napflix is a Netflix for people who need to go to sleep, like right now." And there's a whole, if you go to the article, you have show notes, you got the link, go to the article. There's, I think, 10 of them. He lists 10 examples from Netflix. I just selected 3 that I thought were kind of interesting. But he says here, we are all overstimulated automatons making our way through the day, just moving from one screen to the next in a sleep-deprived stupor. Amen, brother. And even though scientists say it's the worst idea, many of us can't sleep without a TV on. It's true for me and my wife, absolutely. That's where Napflix comes in. Sure, Netflix itself has invested in random burning log here or subway commute video there, but Napflix is a fully dedicated snooze machine. And he goes on to say, let's give them the support they need because it's high time America got into the whole slow TV phenomenon that Norwegians love so much. I'd like to learn more about that.
Yeah.
Apparently there's a subcult thing in Norway for slow TV. Who knows? And then it says, to get you started, here are 10 boring as hell, gratingly monotonous, or just plain slumber-inducing videos ranked in order of how well they will make you go to, and then he uses the F word, I'm not going to do that, of course, to sleep. So I picked 3. And this one actually is kind of fascinating. It's this guy named Mark Orkrand on Klingon, and he is the guy who invented Klingon for Star Trek. Isn't that something? And you can see this long, drawn-out video where he goes to a whiteboard. It's just him and a whiteboard, and he's explaining all the nuances of Klingon. And I'll tell you, it's kind of interesting at first, but believe me, this will lights out.
It probably has the same effect that lectures do in lecture halls. I mean,
yes, exactly.
10 minutes, but then after that, it's just all right.
Yeah. And then, with no disrespect to our beloved cousins to the north in Canada, who are addicted to curling along with hockey, of course, you can watch 3 straight hours of curling. And if you're not familiar with that sport, the minute you see the video, you'll go, oh yeah, I've seen this before on the Olympics. And that's one of them. You can see 3 straight hours. And then there's a solemn, high traditional Latin Mass, Cathedral of the Blessed Sacrament in Sacramento. And you can watch that video. And that one, just the pace of it alone will probably put you right out. So Napflix, I thought that was pretty darn funny.
It's been a number of years since I've been to church, but I remember I was right there. I'm glad that they they call it Netflix, but it's not like a dedicated. Obviously going by the videos here, it seems to be like a service that picks up YouTube videos. So you just
aggregates the most boring,
the most boring, as they call them, YouTube videos, and so it's not like they're hosting the videos themselves.
Yes.
I think that if I could choose one through the service, and Ralph, I don't know if you're a fan, but there's a gentleman that does ancient technology or something like that. It's a gentleman who goes to the outback of Australia and essentially goes back to the Stone Age and just recreates everything from the Stone Age using his own two hands.
Ooh, that sounds kind of cool, actually.
I mean, he has millions of views, millions of followers. It's so interesting, but relaxing. I mean, there's no music, there's no talking. It's just him making things, and it's interesting.
Well, that sounds actually kind of cool. Send me the link for that. I'm interested.
I definitely will. And trust me, you watch one, and you're like, now how the heck is he going to build a hut? And how is he going to build this bow and arrow? He does it, but whatever. Music means we have to take a break. We'll be right back with more Computer America. And of course, right after the break, we are going to announce our social media winner of the week. Yes, we have one. We picked him, and yes, it is a him, and he'll be very happy. So come back for more Computer America, more Ralph Bond, and more fun.
Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission of Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is to help build a sustainable, no-kill community where no dogs or cats are ever killed for population control, where true euthanasia is reserved only for animals who are irremediably suffering, or for animals who are truly a threat to society and with no hope of rehabilitation. Brother Wolf staff and volunteers go door to door, neighborhood by neighborhood, to educate citizens about local resources available for at-risk pets and to help their families connect with those resources. Brother Wolf's community-based approach to no-kill helps keep family pets healthy, happy, and in their homes and out of the local shelter system in the first place. For more information or to make a tax-deductible donation to this wonderful 501c3 organization, visit their website at www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
No, you can still be a patriot without listening to Computer America. Well, kind of anyway. I'm Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the TripLite 10-port USB charger. This is what we're talking about. TripLite has a 10-port USB desktop charger the size of a suspense novel with no wall wart, just a detachable power plug. It has enough power to feed 2.1 amps full time to all 10 ports, all at the same time. Or if some need less, up to 2.4 amps to a good many at once. It has a blue pilot light up front, a power switch, and an impressively quiet cooling fan port out back. Bottom line, when it comes to feeding enough power to enough ports all the time, this powerful 10-port charger from TripLite gets it right. Marty Winston, News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show, and thank you, Marty Winston, for that News Tip Bulletin review. And we continue on here with Mr. Ralph Bond as we are right in the middle of our Friday show. Hopefully all of you are doing so well. And again, happy Veterans Day. And yeah, before we get back into it, by the way, Ralph, I found it. It's called Primitive Technology.
Okay.
Yeah, he only has, I'd say, about 16 videos, each one between 5 and 10 minutes long. I am addicted. Like he uploads like about one a month, I'd say,
Wow.
and it's super super interesting. Many of them have over 10, 15 million views a piece.
Gee, that's great.
Super interesting. Definitely go check that out. And everyone listening, go check it out as well. He's seems like a really great guy. But and also before we get back to all the news that Ralph has found, we can also talk about our social media winner of the week. Yes.
Yeah.
We have one. We've picked him, and I'm sure everyone out there who tends to be a male is thinking, "Wow, I can't wait. Is it me?" And yeah, so I say we just get right into it. Let me find the proper sound effect because, Ralph he does such a good job at playing this that it doesn't go well without the aforementioned sound.
Today it's pencil and pen virtual drumsticks. I'm sorry, I didn't grab my real ones.
Yeah. Okay. So here we go. You ready? All right. Here we go. Perfect. Could not be any better. All right. So, and for today, who's again winning the keys to go from Logitech, the winner is. I wish I had the cymbal crash. Colton.
Yeah, that'd be good.
It would be so much better. Colton Garrett Birch. There we go. Yeah, and Mr. Colton Birch, he listens to us in Gilmer, Texas, and he is the proud new owner of the Keys to Go by Logitech. He, we're gonna have that sent out to him. We've already forwarded his information out to Logitech. It's just that simple. They're gonna contact you and they're gonna send it. And everyone, if you want to be like Mr. Colton, then all you have to do is go to computeramerica.com or go to any social media site and find Computer America, sign up, follow, subscribe, what have you. Just like that, you're ready to go. And yeah, have some fun and you can be a winner too. So congratulations, Colton, and thank you for listening. Now, with that,
hey Ben.
Yes,
Ben. Talking about Logitech, I want to put a shout out for this little product. I don't know if you can see it on my video screen.
Keyboard, right?
This is the K400 Plus wireless touch keyboard. This is a great. We bought two of them.
Oh yeah.
We have one for downstairs in the family room, one up here in my home theater. And it's an inexpensive, I think it was, I don't know, $30 or something at Best Buy. Works like a champ, and it's just so nice. So again, Logitech, I'm a big fan.
They have, I can't say that I use Logitech for everything. I mean, they're friends of the show, and they do that contest. But like right now, I'm using a Cherry keyboard and things like that. But when it comes to price ranges, I mean, Logitech, the $15, $30 price range, all the way up to the $100, $120, $100.
Yep.
They got you covered. I mean, they make good stuff.
Yeah.
And, right now I'm using a Logitech headset, all that good stuff. So yeah, Logitech, proud to have them sponsor it and proud to give away their products, because first of all, hey, we like disseminating Logitech stuff. So again, if you want to check that out, Computer America, all the social media stuff, next week could be you. But speaking of this week and today in particular, now we're getting into building design and construction, who is again the source of this next article, story number 5, if you are following along in the show notes. But the story is concept for Perkins and Will become the world's tallest timber tower. And I don't know if that makes me feel safe or that makes me feel scared.
No, I actually, from an engineering point of view, very safe, and we'll find out a little bit more why. Isn't that great? And so, as longtime listeners know, I work for Autodesk, but the part of Autodesk I work for are the folks that make software for architects, engineers, and construction professionals in the building and civil infrastructure industries, right? And so I've been exposed to so many of these kinds of publications, so I like to weave in a few things here and there that come from my day-to-day world to share with the listeners. And I pick things that aren't just for architectural geeks, but something that really anybody could get a kick out of. And like you say, this is a concept now. It's not being built right now, but it's an idea for what could be the world's tallest timber tower. And it comes from a magazine called Building Design and Construction, story by David Malone. If you have the show notes, you can see these very compelling conceptual renderings of what this building could look like. It's absolutely, in my opinion, gorgeous. And timber plays a big role. So here we go. The story says a collaboration between Perkins and Will, Thornton Tomasetti, and the University of Cambridge has produced a conceptual, academic, and professional design for an 80 story residential timber high rise. Whoa. Okay. The high rise, known as the River Beach Tower, is part of a master plan along the Chicago River. And while it is considered conceptual at the moment, the team says it could be realized by the time the master plan's final phases are completed, according to another publication called ARC for Architecture Daily, ARC Daily. If the building does come to fruition, it would become the largest timber structure in the world. Most timber high-rise proposals reach 30 to 40 stories, with timber structures that are actually being constructed coming in between 10 to 20 stories today. Now, while 80 stories seems like a bit of a stretch considering what is currently possible, the River Beach team says a new, innovative system the tower's construction would employ would allow them to reach these new heights. Now, it goes on to say, currently, most timber buildings use a hybrid system of cross-laminated timber and glulam with a concrete core. And I had to go and look up glulam, and I put a little definition in green type on the show notes. That's my notes. So glulam refers to glued laminated timber, also called glulam, is a type of structural engineered wood product comprising a number of layers of dimensioned lumber bonded together with durable, moisture-resistant structural adhesives. In North America, the material providing the laminations is termed laminating stock or lam stock.
These guys
and then it goes,
are so busy, they have to abbreviate everything.
Of course. Well, it's just like high tech. Everything has to become an acronym.
Oh, yeah.
Other models use a wooden core and wooden floor slabs with steel beams to provide ductility. So, but River Beach Tower, this concept we're talking about, would use an entirely different system. An exterior of die grid system would be used to take advantage of the natural axial strength of timber. That's where it gets a little geeky in terms of physical, mechanical engineering and timber. In this system, the vertical and lateral loads are resisted by connecting the outer diagrids with the internal cross bracing that skirts the central atrium. Now, here's where, if you have the show notes and you can see the pictures, you can kind of visualize what they're talking about. It goes on to say, this allows for efficient load distribution across all timber elements. The building would likely have around 300 residential units along with communal spaces. So there you go.
I mean, I don't remember much from, because when I went to high school, thanks funding, I didn't stick with it, but I was in engineering for like the first year. And I know that, when you talk about wood structures and things like that, you want the wood to essentially be pulling or pushing into itself or against itself. Like, you don't want to put like a load, like think of like a 2x4. You don't want to put a right in the middle so it can snap like a toothpick. You want it pulling against itself. That's the strength. And when you look at this building, everything is pulling against itself because of kind of the honeycomb kind of design.
Yeah.
Crazy cool design. I will say that.
Oh yeah. Again, this is where having the show notes and the images, these are very compelling images. I love the image where you're inside in the inner core of the building looking up. Yeah. Wow. Very cool.
It's definitely something different. And I mean, it's also very interesting that the article pointed out that, most concepts are 30 to 40 stories. And like, even that, like, I've never seen a 40-story wooden structure. But and then they said in reality they end up being 10 to 20. I'm like, that's still pretty impressive. And then 80, that's definitely something I've never seen before. So
yeah, interesting, huh? That's why I picked this story. I thought, okay, this is pretty cool.
I'm curious to see what it ends up being, because concept is one thing, reality is another. But man, that's going to be really cool.
There you go.
Hey, speaking of cool, and Intel, they've been friends of the show for a long time, and they do a lot with consumer electronics and things like that. But industrial jobs call for industrial strength, and we've talked about drones here on the show before. They have great promise. Ralph, what is this? Why is Intel making a drone all of a sudden, and what is it going to be doing?
Yeah, it's a great story for so many reasons. One, because it's just right off the top interesting that Intel is involved with launching their own drone, because you think of Intel as a super technology company, but you don't think of them as maybe making drones, right? I mean, that's something else again. But the story comes from Recode, story by April Glasser. And the headline, as you mentioned, is Intel is launching its own drone designed for industrial jobs. So not designed for hobbyists, not for you and me as kids out in the front yard and silly business. No, for industrial purposes. So let's get into the story here. There's a great image of this drone, by the way. This is an interesting looking drone. For one thing, it's not your usual kind of circular format. Is more like a sled. Again, with the show notes, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So it says, Intel has unveiled its first fully drone, dubbed the Falcon 8 Plus. It's designed for industrial jobs, like on big construction sites, where it might take a human hours to walk around to complete a field inspection. The Falcon 8 weighs only 6 pounds and flies faster than most hobby drones on the market. It's able to reach speeds of up to 35 miles per hour. Wow. This isn't Intel's first foray into drones. That interested me too, because I kind of thought it might be. The company partnered with Ascending Technologies, which it later acquired, that means Intel acquired, to refine its 360-degree depth perception cameras for collision avoidance. Let that sink in for a second. That's pretty cool. The drone is controlled with a waterproof cockpit equipped with a joystick and tablet, which is much more robust than consumer drones that interface with smartphones. And it goes on to say, unlike with hobbyist drones, where DJI, that's a company, already accounts for 70% of the market, the commercial and industrial drone scene doesn't yet have a single dominant drone player. So here's where probably Intel's saying, hey, there's a door open for us.
Right.
3DR, which is short for 3D robotics, by the way, and I know this company because Autodesk is working with them. 3DR, which once touted itself as the leading drone company in the United States, is now completely switching to building drones for commercial applications. That is true. And other drone makers like Unique, Crespri, and DJI all have commercial grade offerings too. Intel never became as dominant a player in the smartphone game as it is in home computer components. We all know that. But with home computer sales in steady decline in recent years, the company has been looking for ways to get into new devices. And one way to do that is to put its brand on new products to advertise its technology. In this case, not only to consumers, but to other drone makers too. Now, here's an interesting point. Amazon and Google have been branding their own consumer products as well, as we all know that. Still, full hardware systems aren't what Intel is generally known for, right? And if its complete, ready-to-fly drone doesn't take off, the company may still find its depth sensor technology inside other drone makers' machines, and that is not a bad position to be in. So I think this is strategically interesting. They put out a fully made product under their brand name, ready to go, and that's great. But if it doesn't succeed for some reason in gaining market share, they're not losing, because the technology, that collision avoidance technology they were talking about, is something they can market out to other OEMs, right? And then you've got to see this video. This is really cool. And if you have the show notes, you'll have the link for that. There's a video of Intel's collision avoidance system helping a drone navigate through a wooded forest. Yeah, this is something you got to go see. It's very cool.
That could not be any more further removed from, man-made obstacle, a forest, very different.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough environment.
And Ralph, I'll give you a quick quiz. Do you know what technology is probably contributing to this object avoidance system, that Intel produces?
Well, I do not. I'm ready for your answer.
I believe it would be the RealSense technology. It's been in a lot of webcams lately. It's the thing.
Oh, okay.
You can smile.
Oh, yeah.
Webcam, it can tell you're a person and not a picture.
Oh, yeah.
I'm betting RealSense is what they're using in drones now.
That sounds completely sensible. Yeah, no, that's very cool. And it is fun. And like I say, Intel can't lose in the sense that if it doesn't succeed as a standalone branded product, again, the technology can be sold and they're still going to come out ahead of the game, which is really cool. And boy, I'll tell you, drones in commercial and in construction applications, friends, are very significant. For example, very quickly, a lot of our friends in the construction business are starting to use drones to do inspections of high-rise buildings under construction, replacing the terrible danger and cost of sending human beings up on scaffolding and so forth to do the same task. So there's countless possibilities for drones in construction.
I do not doubt it at all. Now, we have a couple more stories. I kind of want to get to two in particular because they're so interesting.
Yeah.
And the first one I want to get to, we're going to skip over story number 7 if we have time.
Okay.
Come back to it. But story number 8, and
Yeah.
when you think Bentley, you think I can't afford one of those. Well, it turns out the same thing is true when they build a hotel room.
That's right.
Let's talk about this hotel suite because it is insane. And the pictures are the important part.
Yes. This is a great example of where if you don't have the show notes, you're at a disadvantage because this is I loved it just because I thought it was hilarious. A $10,000 a night luxury hotel suite. So this comes from Business Insider, a story by Danielle Muolo. The title is "Take a Look Inside Bentley's," and it is the car maker Bentley's brand luxurious hotel suites priced as high as $10,000 a night. You can see a picture of a Bentley automobile in front of the St. Regis Hotel. In case Bentley's luxury cars weren't enough, the automaker now has its own hotel suites. Bentley and Starwood Hotels and Resorts, which owns the St. Regis Hotel chain, formed a partnership in 2012. Now, Marriott International has since acquired Starwood Hotel and Resorts, by the way. It goes on to say, as part of the partnership, Bentley supplies the St. Regis Hotels with a fleet of its Flying Spur luxury sedans and offers coordinated driving programs for guests. But Bentley didn't stop with the cars. It also has a luxurious suite in 3 separate St. Regis hotels. And it says, scroll down for a closer look. And I've embedded the pictures. We'll just kind of give you the captions for some of the pictures. Bentley has a suite at St. Regis flagship hotel in New York that's priced at $10,500 a night. If you
Modest.
have to ask what the price is, this is not for you.
Absolutely.
Right? It's not for you and me, I can tell you that much. The suite covers 1,700 square feet of floor space on the hotel's 15th floor and comes with a a bedroom, full bathroom, a half bathroom, a foyer, and a large dining room, which is shown in the picture. The suite comes standard with butler service and a champagne bar, and I presume it's an all-you-can-eat champagne bar or all-you-can-drink. I would think at $10,500 a night, and overlooks Fifth Avenue in Central Park. Bentley's New York suite was the first to open in September of 2012. Scrolling down, there's some more picture here. It says the suite was designed by Turkish architect Emir Erolat and was meant as a modern interpretation of the Art Deco era, late 20s, early 30s Art Deco. And the bedroom comes with a full bathtub and walk-in shower. I mean, it's got it all. You can see the bathroom's astonishing, like marble, I guess. Just unbelievable. Huge. So that's his fun.
And I definitely do like the Art Deco. I mean, like the thing that screams Art Deco to most people is a giant leather chair, and they have one of them.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, and the sweeping kind of curves, and yeah exactly right.
And again, I like the reason that like I was kind of scrolling through looking at the different stories that we have available in the show notes. I was like, oh, la, and then like I just saw all the marble and all that crazy marble. Oh man, 10,000. And part of me says they're not charging enough. You know, it's
well, you know, if you're a corporation and maybe you're going to use this for entertainment or something, you know, a lot of venues are going to be $10,000 a night, especially in New York City and so forth. So hey, and maybe it's not that insane.
Right. But it's still very, very nice to look at, and again, it's right there in the show notes. It could not be easier. All right, so and I also want to skip over. Hopefully, we'll come back to Dell, and you know, we definitely talked about on the show with the Windows and the Windows the new Surface Pro. That's what it was. And the
studio one where it's a big screen and you lay it down. This Microsoft Studio thing, that's astonishing.
Yeah. And also 3D printing for very, very cool. But the one that you know, we kind of mentioned offhandedly that hey, it's the holiday time. Time to start.
Yes.
Gifts. Story number 12. Gag gifts idea for 2016. These are always great. I definitely enjoy the ones that aren't just the boxes, but definitely the toys themselves. So what are some of these? Because they are awesome.
These are pretty good. So Gag Gift Ideas 2016, top 10 best gag gifts according to Heavy. .com, story by Jennifer Hoffmeister. And there are some funny ones here. And I picked just a few, so you can go out and see them all for yourself. But one of them is 4M Robot Duck. And it says, you will quack up your friends with the hilarious 4M Duck Robot. It's the perfect gift for a proud, nerdy pal. And even better if that pal has some kids. Quick to assemble and fun to play with, the robot duck delivers both the science of robotics and the gift of laughter. This silly two-footed creature waddles just like a duck when powered with 2 AAA batteries. Have a lot of folks worthy of humorous small gifts. Pick up the adorable tin can robot. There's some links here for these two: 4M brush robot or the spidery looking tabletop robot. Now the good news is this is a stocking stuffer price. $12.56.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, we're not, one of the reasons I like this is we're talking about affordability. Now, the next one is great. A little bit of explanation for this bacon wallet. Oh, yeah. Okay, so here's the deal. My wife is basically a very, very staunch vegetarian. So is my daughter. My daughter's son, my son-in-law, my daughter's wife, is an omnivore, and he still enjoys having bacon once in a while and this sort of thing. So I thought, as a gag gift, I might get him the bacon wallet just so he can annoy my wife and daughter. It'd be awesome. If you have the show notes, you can see the picture, and it looks like, a slab of bacon, right? Bacon strips. So it says, put some hip into your pal's hip pocket with the gift of a whimsical bacon wallet. This nifty wallet is great for the man or woman who brings home the bacon. Sleek, sexy, and totally meaty. This faux leather wallet has plenty of pockets for cash and credit cards. Why not give him or her an entire bacon ensemble? For sweet, sexy lips, try Bacon Balm. Heal their boo-boos with bacon bandages and keep them shower and fry pan fresh with bacon soap. Yes, but the bacon wallet is only $10.39.
Very nice. And it's not just slabs of bacon. Like, the wallet looks like it's bacon. It looks like a bacon wrapped wallet.
Yes, it does. So funny.
And to the point, your family being vegetarian, like, the pictures may be somewhat off-putting, but they're not actually harmful. So
yes, that's exactly right. It's obviously a photo applique thing or some guy, because it's super realistic looking. And then if we have time, the men's hander pants.
These were the most different. It's goodness.
Well, okay. Now, if you have the show notes, you get the picture, but I'll try to give you a word picture. So imagine, how there's some gloves where the tips of the fingers are exposed, right? So it's just the glove over here. Well, imagine gloves like that look like tighty-whitey underwear. I mean, they're exact duplicates of tighty-whitey underwear, but for your hands, allowing the front ends of your fingers to be, exposed, right? So it's hilarious. So they're called men's hander pants. Dare your friends to make underwear outerwear by giving them a hilarious pair of hander pants. These fingerless gloves are made of 95% breathable cotton and also contain 5% spandex, so they'll stretch to fit most hands. With clever boy panty motif, or tighty-whitey as I would say, hander pants work great for keeping hand cheeks cozy. Oh, that's funny. While leaving fingers exposed to maintain dexterity while working with tools and shovels. Speaking of undies, sometimes desperate situations call for desperate measures. Keep them safe and clean with grab-and-go underpants, another link for you, and a package of, I don't know if I can say this.
I don't think so either. But
you'll have to get the show notes. Disposable mitten cleanup wipes for that excrement issue. I think I can say that word.
Yes.
The hander pants are $12.99. So again, not overpriced.
Right. And it's a play between mittens and that other word. So okay.
Yes.
But no. The main one, $13 for the hander pants.
But hander pants are great. I thought they were. My wife looked at this and just started laughing.
Right. No, it would take a true man to wear these out in public. But no, very, very interesting. And again, all of these, computeramerica.com, show notes right there in today's show notes, and it's the cheat sheet, so you can see all of these.
Yeah.
And yeah, Ralph, we have about another minute left. What are you up to? What are you doing?
Well, yeah, let's just say another thing about next week. Autodesk University, as I said at the beginning of the show, 10,000 plus people from around the world coming together to learn about, talk about, work with the latest technology and software from Autodesk, my company that I work for. And it's just going to be an astonishing event. One of the things that in the
90
architectural
seconds.
engineering one of the things in the architectural engineering construction business is virtual reality. This is becoming more and more a big thing. The putting on the HoloLens and goggles and so forth, and being able to experience a design conceptually and go, wait a minute, that wall should be over here instead, because I'm realizing if I walk in, blah, 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 blah. That's something we're really going to be showcasing along with many other out there on the forefront technologies.
It sounds like you're starting to use augmented reality. Well, augmented, of course, in its own role, but virtual
60
reality,
seconds.
to do virtual
Right.
walkthroughs and not just on.
Yes, exactly right.
Very, very cool. Let us know how that goes. I think if I'm remembering the calendar right, I should probably pull the calendar up. But I think we're going to have you on one more time before the end of the year. So, with that being said, possibly, maybe I need to double check that. But thank you so much for joining us, Ralph. It was a lot of fun and very, very interesting stories. So, with that being said, looking forward to having you on next month again. And good luck out there in Vegas. Don't get into too much trouble. Once again, before we close the show, Veterans Day. Thank you, veterans, for all that you do and all that you have done. And have a great weekend. Hopefully you are off to do something fun and, not just enjoy the day, but enjoy yourself. So
10
with that
seconds.
being said, everyone, have a great weekend. See you back here bright and early, Monday, 4 to 5 p.m. Have a good one. Bye-bye. And there we go. We're still on the video portion. But Ralph, I want to say once again, thank you for being here and looking forward to
lots of fun. And there's still some other fun stories in the show notes, folks.
Definitely.
Go out and check the ones we didn't have a chance to do. They're really great.
Definitely. Okay. And with that being said, everyone watching, everyone listening, and Ralph, you too, have a good weekend. See you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.